Check out this list of the Democrats' 10 demands. First one, blah, 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 require verification that a person is not a U.S. citizen before holding them in an immigration detention. So let me get this straight. You guys don't want anyone to have to prove they are U.S. citizens to vote or even to be here, but want ICE agents to have to prove the same people are not U.S. citizens to detain them. Are they not familiar with reasonable suspicion? Despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of the people ICE are picking up on the streets already have a deportation order from a judge. They aren't throwing like darts at a map in the city and saying, we're going to deport this house. That's not how it works. Here's another one. And you guys, you got to make up your mind on this one. No masks. Prohibit ICE and immigration enforcement agents from wearing face coverings. Dude, like 3 years ago, I couldn't get on a train, I couldn't get on a bus, a restaurant, anywhere without a face mask, and now you want to ban them? This next one is gold, too. 3, require ID. Require DHS officers conducting immigration enforcement to display their agency unique ID number and last name. Why would they want that? To dox them, maybe? Require them to verbalize their ID number and last name if asked, but this morning, Chuck Schumer said this about requiring an ID to vote.
It's Jim Crow 2.0, and I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting.
I'm curious. So are IDs bad, or are they good now, or is it just for ICE? Does that mean he doesn't want black and brown people to be ICE agents? I'm just like so confused. IDs, good, bad? Another one, gold. Number 4, protect sensitive locations. Prohibit funds from being used to conduct enforcement near sensitive locations, including polling places and courts. What the hell are illegals doing at polling places, Chuck? I mean, seriously, can we get on the record, like an on-the-record answer here? Really? They shouldn't be there at all. And courts, too. That's where the bad guys are. Should we wait until they go back home and then raid their homes to get them? I mean, that's how the whole Minnesota situation got out of control. 5, stop racial profiling. It prohibits DHS officers from conducting stops and questioning and searches and based on an individual's presence at certain locations, their job, their spoken language and accent, or their race and ethnicity. Okay, call it whatever you want. I call this patterning. Because if someone driving a car can't speak English, how the hell did they get a driver's license? And how do they read the traffic laws? Seems like probable cause to me, at least, to ask if they're U.S. citizens. Can we come together on that, Chuck? 6, they basically want to bench any officer even remotely involved in any incident while an investigation goes down for like months. These things go on for. This is to dwindle down the force because they're just going to have people making complaints all the time. 7, ensure state and local coordination and oversight. Yeah. Preserve the ability of the state and local jurisdictions to investigate and prosecute potential crimes and use of excessive force incidences. Require that evidence is preserved and shared with jurisdictions. Require the consent of states and localities to conduct large-scale operations outside of targeted immigration enforcement. This is a heap of garbage. This is what will happen day one. Watch this. Basically, this is going to allow for the prosecution of a federal agent by a local court. Like, just take Minnesota. Some ICE agent, like, let's say the Renee Good thing, okay, gonna have this complaint and then will be tried by a jury, a local jury, probably a jury of Somalis that are going to find him guilty of literally anything. You think a federal agent is going to get a fair trial there? Chuck knows this. Now, on the flip side, you know, if Democrats ever get back in charge again, if this does pass, if these demands do pass, Republican states, let's say under a Democrat administration, wants to use the same rules that the Democrats are proposing right now, the Democrats will absolutely use the supremacy clause to crush their own rules. Guaranteed, because that's what they do. 8, build safeguards into the system. Okay. Make clear that all buildings where people are detained must abide by the same basic detention standards that require immediate access to a person's attorney to prevent citizens' arrest or detention, allow states to sue DHS for violations of all requirements, prohibit limitations on member visits to facilities, Congress members they're talking about, ICE facilities, regarding of how those facilities are funded. When people bring up like illegal immigrant detention facilities and the quality of living in them, I laugh, okay? I lived in a tent in Iraq in the summer with no air conditioning for 3 months at one time until we could get trailers there. We had diesel fuel in our water supply. I was eating MREs from like the 90s that have been left in the sun for God knows how long in a military that I volunteered to join. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's better than that, shut up. You have nothing to complain about. I can come together on number 9, which body cams. Kristi Noem actually already did this, so whatever. And then they ran out of ideas. So to make it an even 10, they just decided to micromanage ICE's uniforms, okay? The libs say that these are common sense solutions that protect constitutional rights and ensure responsible law enforcement. By whose standard? These people are all illegal. They're not supposed to be here anyway. They should not be entitled to any type of protections. This is why you cannot negotiate with Democrats. We got to make up every inch of ground we can while we're in the majority, because they will swing the boat way back to the left when they get the reins back.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.